Should have started already. Angles are congruent and all corresponding sides are congruent. In problem number 1, I'm going to say that triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF. So the classic one that I like is that acute scaling one that is just to the left of, if you've got it facing up, is to the left of your rectangle. So here's the rectangle, and we're going to use, so I'm going to draw 2 of them. Now I'm going to call this one triangle ABC. Remember, a triangle has 6 names, because you can call it triangle ABC, triangle, I think we've talked about that, triangle CBA, sometimes it's easier to do the reverse one, and then do BCA, and then do ACB, and then CAB, and BAC. I think that's all of them. And do the same thing with this one. Well, if we're going to match them up, look at how your letters match up. A and D match up. B and E match up. So these are important to you. And C and F. I'm going to mark this one. And because sometimes they'll mark the picture and ask you to state this, and this is called a congruency statement. We'll review that here in just a minute too. So if A and D match up, I'm going to put one arc in them, an angle B, an angle E, just for review, an angle C, an angle F. And then the sides. Remember how we mark sides, segments? AB, I'm going to do one there, and DE. You actually see it up here, and then B, C, and EF, especially when you draw them just identical to each other, and then AC and DF. So whether they give you this or whether they give you this, in many cases they ask you for the congruence. I'm not sure exactly what they call these. I think they may just say name the parts of the triangle that are congruent. So we're just going to go through and write. So we're going to say angle A is congruent to angle D. Angle B is congruent to angle, we just feel like we're repeating it all the way around. And angle C is congruent to angle F. You've got to be able to do that. And we can call them individuals because we don't have any other angles there. And then segments, remember you name segments with a bar over it. You name their measure without the bar. We're going to be doing that in a few minutes. So segment AB is congruent to DE. You can turn those around, ED, DE. BC, segment BC is congruent to segment EF, and segment AC is congruent to segment DF. Now, in some of your classwork, while you're finishing that up, and I remember this because I remember it from last year. I think last year was the first time I used this worksheet, and everybody gets confused when it says, name another congruency statement. Oop. Whether I'm printing or whether I'm writing cursive. Statement, and I'm going to put a star by it. So when you see it says name another congruency, let me back up. Because sometimes when it says name the congruency statements, people think it's this. And they call this something different. I'll have to look at the classwork to see what they call that. I think they may name the parts of the triangles, whatever, they're congruent. But when they say give another or give all the congruency statements, it's this. This is what they're talking about. And there's 6 different ways to do it, just like I was doing a while ago. So I'm gonna go ahead and do all of them. Usually they only ask for one. So I'm gonna do, yeah, we did all the others. So we've got that one. I guess I'll put an S on that. So we'll just go ahead and list all of them. So I'm going to say triangle. I like to do the backwards ones first. So if I've got ABC, I'm going to do CBA. I try to get order in my head. CBA is congruent to FED. I want you to notice, if you're watching me, I'm not even looking at the pictures. I'm looking up here as to how my letters go. And it kind of depends on you as to which way you like looking at this. A lot of the problems, they don't even give you a picture. So if you need one, you would just have to sketch it like that. So now that gets those two. I'm going to start with B, and I'm going to do BCA. And then if I turn that around, it would be ACB. So that's going one way, and that's going the other way. See, if I go from B to C to A, or A to C to B, that gets both of those. And let's see, we've got two more. No, we haven't done that one reverse. I just said it, didn't I? But I didn't reverse it. So I've got ACB and BCA. Okay, so these two go together. These two go together. See, they're just going, one of them's clockwise and one of them's counterclockwise. And then the other two, what do I need to start with? C. Let's see, what is it? CAB? That would be it, wouldn't it? We haven't done that one. CAB is congruent to FDE. And then turn that one around. I don't usually ask for all of them. I might ask for, I think they only ask for one more. Whatever they give you in the classwork, they'll say name another congruency statement. So you got a multiple choice there on those. You just have to make sure your vertices, your points match up. Now we're going to do one like number one, except we're going to do it without a picture. We're going to say triangle CRM is congruent to triangle KJS. Don't need a picture, because I know which angles match up. Do you? What's angle C going to match up with? Angle K. Angle R. Anybody? Angle J. And angle M is going to match up with angle S. Angles are always easy. Now, how do you do the segments? I do them the same way. I take the first two here and the first two here. So I'm going to say segment CR is congruent to segment KJ. That's just the order I do them in. See, segment CR would match up with KJ. Segment RM will match up with JS. Now, where's the third one? Yeah, CM or MC. I'm going to do it CM just because that's the order I have it there. Either way is fine. And then KS or SK. I usually just match them up the way the letters are, so I'm going to do it like that. Number 3. This is the last one. We're going to do this one, and then you got a lot of time to work today. What are we on, page 39? Number 3. Okay, triangle BTS. And I don't like the picture, the letters they pick, because some of these abbreviations are not that great, but we could turn them around so they don't sound so bad. Triangle BTS is congruent to triangle GHD, and we're going to say that segment SB, and notice I didn't put a bar on it because I'm going to talk about its measure, is 25, and the measure of segment TS is 14. They probably ought to put units on those. They didn't. Centimeters, inches, whatever. It would make it a little bit easier. Segment BT measures 31. I kind of piled it all over here and it didn't look very good, so I'm going to try to do that. Then I'm going to say, oh, I got another one. The measure of segment DG is 4x minus 11. And the measure of angle S is 56 degrees. Now I put a little curl to my S there. I just didn't want it to look like a 5. The measure of angle B is 21 degrees. And the measure of angle H is 7y plus 5 degrees. Okay, we know we need to find an X. And we know we need to find Y. Now you notice X is going to be in with the sides. And you notice Y is in with the angles. But you also have to recognize that SGH are not all the angles in a triangle. Like, I can't say these three add up to 180 because they're obviously not in the same triangle. So we kind of have to see what matches. I've got what is the measure of angle B, and what is the measure of angle S, what is the measure of angle T, and what is the measure of angle H, and then I have what is the measure of segment DG. Now, if you want to draw pictures, we could do just like we did for number 1. It's nice to have a geometer. You can freehand it. But I think if we just match them up, if we say angle B is congruent to angle G, angle T is congruent to angle H. Now, you might not do all this in your classwork, but it kind of helps you organize it in your head for your notes. And then angle S is congruent to angle D, because we want to know several of these. Now, let's see which ones we know. See, we know measure of angle S is 21 degrees. So G, see, now that doesn't make sense because I asked for it here and it was already up here. So I guess I just added that one. So that one's 56 degrees. And angle B is on here, and that's 21 degrees. So I'm not sure why I put those on there. Oh, no, what did I do here? S56. I think I said it right and wrote it wrong, I hope. 56, and this one is 21. Okay. And H is going to be the same as T. Do we know angle T? Ah, but look right here. And there might be another way to set it up, but to me, the easiest to be able to find angle T, I think matching them up to help me, what would be the easiest way to find angle T's measure? Yes, and then subtract from 180. Now, just a quick reminder on an ACT problem, pre-ACT, with a calculator, it's quicker, instead of adding and then having to subtract, is just go, I'll just do it like this, 180 degrees minus 21 minus 56. And that's less keystrokes. I always tell people, especially with a graphing calculator next year in Algebra 2, you do as many, push as least number of buttons you can. And so when I do 180 minus, see, it was less, I didn't have to add and then subtract again, minus the 21 minus the 56, oop, not 59, and I got 103 degrees. And so let's go over here and see what that fills in. That fills in this one and this one. We ain't even had to do anything with X and Y. Now, what about our segments? We know that segment, really, I'm just interested in DG. So segment DG is congruent to which one? It is congruent to BS. So I've got segment SB. I'm going to write it SB. So if DG is 4x minus 11, do we know SB? It's 25. Plus 11, 4x equals 36. Divide by 4, x equals 9. So we can fill that blank in. Got H, so we need DG. And we know that, well, did I even have to do that? I didn't to get DG because, let me section that off, because I knew it was the same as SB, and SB was 25. So I put the 25 there, but it did ask me for X, so I still had to do the algebra there. Now, can we do the same thing for Y? Because angle H is 103. So I can say 7y plus 5 equals 103 minus 5, and I get 7y equals 98. Divide by 7, and I think you get 14. Yeah. So that was kind of a